Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going over this rifle that you guys see in my hands right here and that you saw throughout the intro. This is the Stag 15. So basically it's Stag's basic carbine sort of M4 clone-ish model that they put out there, and it's at a good price point. So that sort of is why I picked it up. For those that don't know, I've been reviewing a ton of budget AR-15s over the last few years and really trying to give you guys a good look at the specs and the details that sort of differentiate the different, let's say in this example, sub $800 AR-15s out there on the market, and this one certainly fits into that category. In fact, that's why I picked this one up. It's because back during the Black Friday sales period 2017, these were going for like I think $625 or something like that. So I ordered one up to get in for a review, and you know, what are we, 4 or 5 months later now? As I film this, we're actually getting you guys that review. We got, I think, 700 or 800 rounds through this rifle at this point, somewhere around there. And at this point, I'd say we can pretty confidently give you my opinion on it. So what we're gonna do next, of course, is let the dogs take a look at it, make sure it passes their inspection, then step out to the range, test the accuracy on this rifle here, come back in and get into those details that I referenced earlier that make this rifle what it is. And at the end, we'll wrap it up with what I think of it overall.
As you guys can probably tell, we got some serious wind out here today. I, again, also have a helicopter hovering above me, which you may hear as well. It really seems they come out here every time I shoot. But anyway, a few rounds to put through the rifle. We have the primary arms 1-8 Griffin MOA scope on there. It's Platinum Series, so nice stuff. The light here is not touching the barrel, so it should not affect accuracy in any way. And I got a few rounds to throw through it, of different weight. Up first will be some Gorilla ammunition, 55 grain. This is their Blitz King bullet. And we'll see how it'll do. I debated doing this test today because the winds are pretty high, but we'll give it a run. As long as the results aren't horrid, we'll roll with it. That one doesn't look too bad. That helicopter, man. He must be like testing his thermals on me or something. Anyway, next up is going to be some Winchester match. This is their 69 grain Match King hollow point boat tail bullet. It's a little bit heavier. In theory, this 1-in-7 barrel should like it a little better, but that's theory only, not real life, so we'll see. Again, not too bad looking there on that group. Next up, we're gonna run some Freedom Munitions. This is their, and I don't even know how to say it, Depredation? It's their varmint control load, or predator control load rather, 55 grain VMAX bullet in there. New production stuff, so we'll see how it likes it. All right, last up is going to be the Federal Gold Medal Burger. This is a 73 grain bullet. It's been pretty accurate in the past. I'm going to pick a random hold-off spot on the left side of the target. But you guys, or what really doesn't translate rather through the camera, is that this field is rolling terrain, really out for about a mile in this direction actually. And I can't see from where I'm at now, I can't see the bottom squares. So I'm just going to pick a spot on the left side of the target and hold there. Let's go check them out. Started out with the Gorilla up here on the top. And that group's right at 1.75 inches. Then we came down here to the 69 grain Winchester. Same right there, 1.75 inches. Up here with the Freedom Deprecation. We're gonna go with that. Right at 2¼ inches on that one. Then we have the Burger here at the end, the 73 grain stuff. And that one looks like a winner. Right at 1¼ inch on that group. Again, non-free floated rifle, mil-spec trigger. This guy behind the trigger, and this wind that you guys are probably hearing right now. Oh, and I'll take it. Not terrible. Who knows? Like anything else, if you work up a load for it, I know some of you guys really like to do that. You can probably shrink those groups a little bit.
Getting into the details of the rifle, we'll start out here on the end. We have an A2 muzzle device. The A2 is a good all-around muzzle device, in my opinion. Does a decent job at hiding flash. Has that closed bottom, so it's not going to kick up any dirt when you're shooting from the prone, and it also aids in minimizing a little bit of muzzle climb. So A2, in my opinion, good to go. It also has the 1/2x28 threads under there, so that way if you want to add an aftermarket flash hider, muzzle brake, compensator, or suppressor of your choice, it'll go on there just fine. Now moving back to the barrel, you'll see I did remove the heat handguards rather, which do have heat shields, as you guys can see here, double heat shields on there. So overall, in terms of quality of the handguards, they're very good, but of course most folks are going to focus on the barrel, and that makes sense because the barrel, of course, along with the bolt carrier group, is sort of the heart and soul of the AR-15. Now this one here has an M4 profile, as you guys can see. Carbine length gas system, has the M4 cutout there. If you guys, for whatever reason, feel like adding a grenade launcher, you certainly can do so. It has a 1-in-7 twist, which is something I know a lot of folks like. It's chrome lined rather, and it's also MP and HP tested. So what that means is the HP is a proof load. They fire the proof load through it. It's a very high pressure load, and then they magnetic particle inspect it, meaning that they take a machine or a device and actually inspect all the different surfaces of the metal to see if there's any microfractures that the eye wouldn't be able to detect. Make sure it's good to go and that the metal consistency across the board is solid and sound, and then they ship it out. You guys take a look here and you'll see that we do have an F-marked front sight rather, which is correct for the flat top upper that we have. We have a sling swivel under there. Also, of course, have a bayonet lug to drive gun grabbers nuts, which I certainly do like as well. Moving on to the upper receiver, it is made of forged 7075 T6 aluminum. It has a hard coat anodizing on there as per the mil spec. You guys can take a look there. You'll see it is T-marked as well for marking your optics location. Has our shell deflector and forward assist. I personally love the forward assist. I know it drives a lot of people nuts, but it makes me feel good on the inside. It is dry film lubricated when you get it in from the factory. Of course, at this point, with all the rounds we got through it, you can't see that, but it also has M4 feed ramp cuts in the upper receiver as well as in the barrel extension, and of course that's all going into that chrome lined chamber there. Moving on to the bolt carrier group, we'll get into the carrier first. It is 8620 steel as per the mil spec. You guys can see there it is full auto profile, so should we ever get our constitutional rights back one day, you will be able to trip a full auto sear. Of course, it's also important if you're going to use aftermarket like Echo triggers or something like that. It will also be compatible there. So we have tool steel there on the gas key, which certainly is good. And we have decent staking there, as you guys can see there. It is chrome lined. You guys can also see that there, both in terms of where the bolt rides as well as the gas key. The bolt itself is made of 158 Carpenter steel. It's MP tested. I'm honestly not sure if it's HP tested. I shot an email out to Stag because I looked around online and I could not find if it was or was not HP tested. But either way, we'll annotate that down below. But 158 Carpenter steel, so mil spec in terms of that regard. And you guys will see here on the extractor, they do use both the black insert as well as the O-ring. This rifle has never had a single malfunction to date with any ammo we've put through it. So obviously that combination is doing well. The lower receiver is made of 7075 T6 forged aluminum again as well per the mil spec, which certainly is nice. You guys take a look there on the inside, you're going to see unlike Colt, it doesn't have that silly little block in there. Again, should we ever get our rights back, we'll be able to drop a full auto sear in there just fine. The grip itself, of course, is the A2 standard grip, sort of upgrade it has, it does have the mag pull trigger guard in there, so it gives you a little bit more space in there for glove firing and things like that. Trigger in there is basic mil-spec kit, nothing too fancy there. Brakes right around 5.5 pounds, has a real good reset that AR-15s of course are known for, but it's mil-spec in terms of the pin dimension as well, so if you guys want to drop an aftermarket trigger in there, you certainly can do so. It also has a flared mag well, and to just kind of show you real quick, something that doesn't have a flared mag well, this is one of my Colt lowers. You guys can see that one's quite well used, but you can see the nice big mouth here on the Stag versus the Colt. It's definitely flared, and it makes mag changes a little bit easier as well. And while I have the Colt lower out here, why don't we actually talk about that as well? You guys can see how Colt puts those silly sear blocks there on the back, so that way you'd have to mill it out if you ever wanted to drop a full auto sear in there. Unlike Colt, Stag doesn't not trust you guys with your rifles, so they actually mill that out, which is good in my opinion. It comes with a heavy buffer from the factory, which I do like. It has a standard mil-spec carbine extension, 6-position, 7075 T6 aluminum, and the carbine spring in there is mil-spec in that regard as well. It does have this little sling attachment point here on the back, so that way if you guys want to hook any sort of clip-style slings on there, you can do so. The castle nut is staked, which is something that a lot of other offerings at this price point aren't going to be, so I do like that. It's not going to come loose on you. Again, you can see the 6-position there, and of course mil-spec. And our stock there is just a basic, you know, M4 style stock from Stag. Has the sling attachment point here if you want to use that, or you can use it here on the toe of the stock, but nothing fancy at all. Has the Stag Arms logo here on the right side, but really basic, but overall a very functional kit. We hit most of the important points on the rifle so far. We showed you the accuracy, we talked about the reliability, which is #1 in my opinion, it always is. So it did really well in both of those regards for a non-free-floated barrel rifle. One thing I'm sure people are going to talk about down below in the comment section is the fact that it has this carbine length gas system. For those that are new and don't know, the carbine length gas system is going to give you a little bit sharper recoil impulse versus a mid-length gas system with a 16-inch barrel like we have here, but in my opinion it's really not a significant factor in determining whether or not you should purchase a rifle. It's there, it is a factor. Like if this was a mid-length gas system, would I prefer it over the carbine? Yes. However, it's really not super important in my list of deciding factors. The barrel components, in terms of quality materials, treatments, the bolt carrier group, those sorts of things are much more important in my personal opinion. But price point on this one right now as I'm filming this is $609 with the Magpul M-Bus rear sight, which I do really like, and I think it's $649 with the carry handle. So at that price point, you're doing really well with the feature set that you get with this rifle. I personally went with the M-Bus rear because #1, I really like the M-Bus rear sight. It does a good job. It has dual apertures. It stays zero. It's very lightweight. It's done really well in a lot of documented drop tests. And of course, I wanted to run optics on it. So some of you guys who want this, just that classic, simple look, can go with the carry handle for I think $40 more. So that's pretty good. Another thing that's really good about Stag rifles is that they have a transferable lifetime warranty. So you could sell this rifle to somebody, they could sell it to somebody. The warranty is forever and never goes away. They also have an unlimited rounds count guarantee for their barrels, so should you ever shoot out any of your Stag barrels, they'll replace it for free. So you really can't complain about that in terms of a warranty at all. All in all, I think you're getting a really good rifle for the price point of this rifle currently, as we said. Now, I think the MSRP is a few $100s more, but it does frequently go on sale over on their website, which is good. And if you guys don't follow me on Facebook, that's where I post the sales when they come up and I find out about them, so you guys should follow me over there. But right now, again, as I'm filming this rifle in the configuration that you see it in now with one magazine, $609 shipped. I mean, that's pretty crazy for what you get. So if you're on a budget and looking for a decent rifle, this is one I would definitely take a look at for sure. If you guys have any questions about the rifle, you can always post those down below in the video description. You can always post those over at my Facebook page as well. That's generally the best way to get in touch with me. I tend to see those comments over there much more than down in the comment section on YouTube or Full30. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and I hope to see all of you in the next video.